going to be doing a recipe today. So I thought you may actually enjoy this. So let's make some shower steamers. I do have my KitchenAid here. We are all ready to go. And anyway, we are going to organize all of this and make some beautiful shower steamers. So I'm going to give you the recipe as we go along, which will be super cool, won't it? And then you'll all be able to see what I'm doing in here. So let's get making. And if you're not here now, you can watch me a little bit later on. So let's go. So I'm going to use some bags that I've already got here. They're already sort of pre-measured, but I'll tell you the recipe as we go along. So I'm just going to use these bags. So if you're new to making a shower steamer, just go to your local supermarket. You can get something just, like that. And so I've got my KitchenAid with a sifter on top, you really need to sift it. So even though this is super fine, so we are going to put approximately 700 grams of bicarbonate soda in here. Happy Friday, my love. Hello. It is a happy Friday. It is super hot in Australia. I wish I was at the beach, but I live an hour and a half from the beach, so I'm not super close. So I am actually in my country kitchen at the moment making this. So now this is the recipe I do use. Sometimes I change things depending on the essential oil, but today we are going to be making an orange essential oil shower steamer. So the first thing we need to do is just get all of the powders organized. So in here, and I'm just loosely doing this. So that's roughly about 100 grams. Honestly, once you do this for a long time, you kind of get used to, your ingredients. So now we're not going to put the citric until later. So we've got the 700 grams of that. Now, something to help them last longer is something like this, which is just corn flour or cornstarch. It doesn't really matter. And honestly, I just put some heaped teaspoons in it. Usually I do 3. This bit does not matter how much you add. Don't add 2 cups or anything, but this is just going to slow down the fizzing. That's why I'm adding that in. So they are the main ingredients I'm going to add. And where did I put something? See, I'm absolutely hopeless. I think, I'm all organized, and then I just realize I'm not. So anyway, I'm going to get on my kaolin clay. So I need to go on this side. So I've got a tiny bit of kaolin clay, and usually what I do is add kaolin clay in here. But for this exercise, we're not. Now let's move this aside. So we've got our powders. Inside here, I have 25 grams of orange essential oil. Now, if you're making, and look, I know this looks like a little sherry cup, but I don't drink alcohol, and it sits in my end room. So you just want basically a teaspoon of kaolin clay inside the orange, and the reason for that is it's going to help the scent to hold just a little bit better. So we will give it a little bit of a mix, and it's going to be a bit of a slurry. And then I'll show you what else we're going to add in here as well. Now this is going to be our water/oil portion, because you need this to to wet the ingredients a little. Also, make sure your humidity is 60 or less. My humidity is 52 because it's very hot today. And we're going to add a hardener in here in a minute, but first we'll work on this. So like I said, we've got 25 grams of essential oil. You can add more if you want, because this is a shower steamer, but this is generally what I do. Now this is apricot kernel oil. We just want roughly about a teaspoon, and this is going to help. Oh, thank you. So you've been following me a while. That's so nice. I get a lot of people actually that say they've been following me for ages, so it's super, super nice. Go away, little fly. We're in Australia, so, we're at that time of year. It's horrible fly season. So now we've got that. So this is basically our water portion. We are going to add a little bit of water, but we'll do that later. So set that aside. So now let's get back to the bicarb. So like I said, we've got 700 grams of bicarb. We also have a couple tablespoons of cornstarch. That's just going to stop it fizzing too fast. Now, because this is orange, I'm using the smallest amount of mica, and I'm just going to lift that up. And the only reason is just so that I can remember that it is orange. Oh, yeah, look, and I do love these ingredients. And the thing is, too, you'll see a lot of people make shower steamers, and literally it's just bicarb, citric acid, and water. And, of course, the essential oil, which is fine. But I just find this lasts longer, and people get really fed up when they buy a shower steamer and it doesn't even last like 10, 20 seconds. Because if you don't put something like cornstarch in it, it will fizzle really fast. And this just allows them to have a shower steamer that can last up to 2 showers. Depends how long you have a shower, of course. And, you know, make sure you tell people to put it in the corner of the shower, not right in the middle of the shower, or else it will just go down the drain and you wasted your money. So that's why we're doing that. Now, this is key to making these. So it is cream of tartar. How long are they meant to last? Oh, look, shower steamers, honestly, I would say 30 to 60 seconds is normal. You know, if you put it in the corner, they'll last a couple minutes. So, and I've tested mine in the corner and they do last ages. So, yes, you can definitely do that. And I'm sorry, I had to get a tablespoon. So, usually I put 2 sort of heaped tablespoons like this of cream of tartar. Now, if you're in a country that doesn't sell it, I know Dubai does not sell it, you need to add triple the amount that you would put in this in kaolin clay. So you would be adding 6 tablespoons of kaolin clay to harden this up. Cream of tartar is something that if you have it 100% use it, please use it. It's a food grade product. You can just get it from your local shopping centre. It's like, I don't know what it is, $4 a container. You don't need heaps of it, but this will keep them hard. Another thing that keeps them hard is water. So I've literally done that. I'm going to put it to the side. So we'll put that bit to the side. Now inside here, this is standard water. Yeah, the humidity will kill you, my love. I'll tell you, if you live in a tropical climate like California, Upper Queensland, you know, Hawaii, I think is a bit the same. Thailand have very high humidity. Very hard to make them, and don't waste your time because it's almost impossible. Even in Australia, in Melbourne, we have lots of rain. So today is a really nice sunny day. So when it's sunny, I'll make thousands because I sell a lot. So now what we're going to add in here is 1, you know, really heaped teaspoon of water. And that water is going to help it harden as well. Just distilled water. You can even use tap water because it's going on the ground. It's not on the body. So now I do have a KitchenAid. If you don't have a KitchenAid, you can do this by hand and I'll show you after. And I hope it's not too noisy, but a KitchenAid's pretty, not really noisy. Now our concoction we made here, let's just pour this in and make sure you get it all out because this is our essential oil. And we haven't added the citric acid. So usually, if I'm not on camera, I would actually, in here, I would be leaving this for, to mix, I'm going to say maybe 5 minutes. But I will mix it more. But I'm going to also do a little bit pan just so you can see. So if you pop it in here, so pop some of the mixture in here, and can you see around the edges, like, so that way you get it out because the bicarb will suck up all of the, you know, left on ingredients. And we want everything out of here because essential oils are very, very expensive. Some essential oils are $1,000 a bottle. That's for like chamomile and stuff like that. It can be really crazy expensive. So most people don't make chamomile. I do use chamomile. I have them, but they're the most expensive ones that I make. But I charge the same price, so I just kind of ran the price out. So once again, we'll just give this a mix. Now, because I'm going to touch them soon, I am going to put some gloves on. So this is medium speed, and I'm sorry if it's noisy, I know it is. But, you know, we're being real here, we're not pretending. So let me just move this aside. Hello. I am showing everyone, my darling friend, how I'm making shower steamers, along with the recipe, of course. So that's what we're doing in this. So for anyone that has just popped on, we have 700 grams of bicarbonate soda. We have, what do we have? A couple tablespoons. Sorry, I'm just going across a few different messages coming up. A couple tablespoons of kaolin clay. We are going to be adding in 300 grams of citric acid, which I haven't added in, but we're going to do that soon, and so on. Oh, you love shower steamers. Yeah, me too. They're super popular, my love, and it is 35 degrees. Oh, I think it's actually 38 in Melbourne today, Celsius. So that's around 100 Fahrenheit, I think. So we'll start to get into this crazy Melbourne weather soon. So now just mix it up a little with your hands, because we want to make sure it's like well mixed, you know, obviously with some gloves on if you're selling it. So I've got witch hazel in my bottle, so I'm just going to give it a few sprays. And you can see I'm not too precious about the amounts. Now I do have to go to Craft 360 to buy a massive bag of citric acid, but for now I'm getting desperate and I have to use small ones. Don't buy it like this. It is way too expensive, but if this is all you've got, this is what you got. You've got to work with what you can get your hands on this time of year. Anyway, so we'll pop it down. Let's mix it again a few times, and then we will check out how it's going to go. Oh, it's 42 in Queensland today, my love. Yeah, that's Celsius for anyone watching. So Australia, we're now in our peak hot season because our Christmas is hot, you know. And I do know lots of you overseas tell me they always say, oh, I couldn't get used to a hot Christmas. So, fellow Queenslander. Yeah, no, well, I love Queensland, and my conference will be in Queensland, actually in 2025, so come along, I'd love to see you. It's going to be in South Bank in Brisbane. Yeah, so that's very exciting. So that's in May next year. And we'll see what we're going to do, because I'm looking at expanding my wholesale range across Australia and possibly another country, but I can't say yet, but my Patreon members will find that out first. So in here is our mix. Doesn't it look beautiful? Now, I want to show you this. Can you see? Hopefully you can see. Can you see how it is not, it doesn't look wet, so it's very powdery, but it is. And if I hold it in my hand, you can see it holds a clump. That means it's ready. You've had a lot of rain and it's cooled down. Yeah, and exactly. So if it rains after being hot in hot climates, the humidity is terrible. So it usually means forget trying to make shower steamers. It isn't going to happen. Let's be honest here. 30 in Adelaide too. Okay, so Adelaide's super hot too. Yeah, well, we're getting that time of year, aren't we, friends? So I have my scale here, and let me see if I can move my camera because it's balancing on a Vistacard box. And you know, I was watching a podcast yesterday, and this guy was a millionaire now. He wasn't to start with, and he was saying, he said he always tells people, go onto YouTube. When you start, just film. Don't worry about editing. Just do it, because, you know, you kind of got to get your foot in the door. And I thought, that's so true. So we have our scale here, and I'm going to move a couple of things because I want to put a tray in here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the money doesn't roll in, I know, with the humidity. It's a bummer, isn't it? But that's Australia for you. You know, we live in a hot climate, my friends. But at the same time, aren't we so lucky to live here in a safe country? So, you know, I always try and thank my lucky stars that I was born here. I really do. So we're just going to, you know, push it down with our hand. Nothing too exciting. I don't tap this. You shouldn't have to tap it if it's the mixture's right and the weather's right. So you can see that's the top. Let's pull it off and let's hope. Can you see how it's looking perfect? No tapping involved. Take it off. That's it, and put it on the tray. The reason, if you need to tap your mixture, it means that it's too wet and it's sticking. That's generally what it means. Sometimes too, if your essential oils aren't pure and they have, sometimes what happens when you buy them, they'll have oils in them. Yeah, we are blessed, for sure. We definitely are in this country. And I think only the last year or two we've seen a lot of sad things here that I've never seen in my life. So we've been lucky to now. So let's just hope. So there, that one is all beautiful. And if you're wondering why I've got my scale, because I'm just using a little cheap scale here, I weigh every single one because I'm selling these. And people that are buying these, they're paying for 45 grams. So they don't want to get 41 grams or 30. They want at least 45. And I know, look, it sounds silly, doesn't it? Saying, well, you know, does it matter? But it actually really does matter, because imagine if you went, and I know, because, you know, I actually bought olive oil and it was meant to be 3 litres. And, you know, every single time, and I bought the same brand, I don't buy it anymore. But this particular brand was always 2.7 kilos. It was never 3. Never. Even when I opened it up and scraped the sides, I did a few testing on it. So, and I stopped buying it because I was a bit fed up. And I know you might think, well, no one's going to do that and measure it out. And usually I wouldn't, but I was making soap and a couple bars didn't work because I didn't weigh it. I just thought, well, it says 3, and that's exactly the amount I needed. Sometimes you've got to weigh it all up. Oh, so yeah, so these are meant to be 45 in the packet. So I add 47 to 49. And then when they dry out, they'll be 45. But on your packaging, what you need to write is you need to write a little E with a circle around it. And that actually, that tells people that that's the estimated. So it can be up or down. So with Australia, with your legal terms and things and requirements, I'm not a lawyer, so please do your own research. But you can be a couple grams either way. So, yeah, because, you know, it's pretty hard to get that exact amount. I mean, it's really hard, you know, because depending on, you know, the humidity, how much water that's going to go into these and so on, because water, you know, adds weight as well. And usually you can tell as well from the top. Yeah, so mine, to give you an idea, so this one here, we've got 49, and too, I've spilled a tiny bit, but that little bit wouldn't even be 1 gram, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so to give you an idea, these are 45 grams, and I charge $7.99 for my shower steamers, and they are definitely my most popular product. That, candles and soap are the most popular that I sell. So, you know, like the difference is too, if this isn't in a box, you have to charge less because people pay more for something in a box. And the reason you're paying more is obviously I've had to pay printers, designers and everything to get my products ready to sell. Yeah, so it is important to charge what it's worth. And when I say what it's worth, it doesn't mean what you think it's worth. It means what it's actually worth. So, you know, have a look on the market. So other people that do boxed ones like me, like $7.99 is pretty normal. And if you sell wholesale like I do, you need the price to be that price, because I'm never going to get $7.99. Out of that, I'm going to get $3.50, and then fair will take up to 25%. So, yeah, so that's why I charge that amount. But obviously it has to do with your cost of goods. You know, are you buying in bulk or not? There's so many things to consider. So if you kind of can see, this mold also is a 3-piece mold from Lee Molds. It is the smallest shower steamer one they do. This is actually, I think it's classified as a shampoo mold, if I'm right. And the reason I did this is it actually fits really well, and it's a really good size. It's a good size if people are even traveling and they want to take them in their suitcase. It is a really good one. So, yeah, so I do definitely suggest that you weigh them as you go along if you're selling, you know, wholesale or retail. Even if you're selling at a market, still weigh them. You just don't want to end up with a big headache later on, because you'll be amazed. I've actually heard that official people from the government have been going to markets, and sometimes they'll weigh up the product to see that it's weighing the amount it should. So, yeah, I've never had that happen to me, but I don't really do markets anymore. But even when I did at the start, I never had that. But I have heard that happen quite a lot. So, yeah. So if you didn't get the recipe at the start, just watch the video back. I will save it for YouTube, and you'll be able to watch it back with the recipe in it. And do a bit of testing, because this will all be really dependent on the essential oils. Some essential oils, like lavender, you need to add a little bit more bicarb, because otherwise the lavender is so strong, it can kind of stain the box a little bit, even though I wrap them as well. And you do need to wrap these either in plastic or biofilm as you're going along. Yeah, and like I said, today is a really nice day, so I thought, look, this is the perfect day for me to make these, set them aside, and let them dry. And then tonight is my daughter Alison's birthday, so we're going to her birthday tonight. We're all going out to Akami for dinner, which is, I think Akami's Japanese. I've not been to the one in our local area yet. I've been to the one that was 40 minutes away where my kids live. But anyway, it's Alison's birthday, so that's why we're going to Akami, which is nice. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. So, and look, sometimes you're going to have these that'll look a little bit bigger. I mean, if I give a little bit extra, it doesn't matter. But obviously they have to fit into the boxes I did. And I did do a video, I think it was yesterday or maybe even this morning, where I was actually making, you know, the products. So just to show everyone. Packaging it. Sorry, not making, packaging, so that you can see me packaging it. But, you know, it took me a long time to get packaging ready. It really did. I found that really hard because it's pretty expensive. Everyone knows how crazy expensive packaging is. It's just outrageous, really. So it's the way it is, isn't it, my loves? So I hope you've enjoyed a little video of us making something. As I did say this morning, I have been so busy because I've been, I'm actually writing a book, which is a recipe book, and it will be on Patreon. So if you want that on Patreon, it will have all the recipes for soap making, and it's I think actually it's 32 pages now. I added a few extra pages on. But people at the higher levels, they don't have to pay, but they'll be free for them on Patreon. So, yeah, I've been asked for a while. I did look at making a hardcover book, But it's like $20,000 for the startup to do it. And then, you know, you need like an editor and everything. And I just can't afford that. So that's on the back burner for a little bit. But I really wanted to do that. I will do that. I definitely will in time. As most of you know, I talk about this all the time. I say this is my job to the end of my life, you know. Looking beautiful. Me too, yeah. Yeah, I know, look, we all go through different jobs in our life. But this is a great job for me. Something as you all know, I'm really passionate about it. And it's something I can do into, you know, the end. I'm not a person that could sit on a couch and just watch Netflix. I would be so bored, seriously. I couldn't handle it, you know. That'd be a fast death for me, sitting on the couch, you know. Although I have been watching a few series that I like. There's one, and a lot of people would be shocked by this. It's a Viking one that I love it. My dad and I used to watch Viking series movies when I was young, and Robin Hood and all those kind of ones. My dad loved them. So I think of him when I'm watching this Viking Valhalla, that's what it's called. I love, love, love it. And I think the new Viking one comes out tonight or tomorrow, the new series. So I'll be watching that. And usually I don't, because I don't watch anything with swearing. I just can't stand it. I just can't enjoy the movie with it. I mean, I'm not saying I don't swear, but I just kind of feel like they just add all these stupid things in. Did I see the series Vikings? Yeah, I've been watching that. If that was the one on Netflix, there's like 3 on Netflix. I love them all. I do love, what is it? I can't think of what it's called now. The one in the Scottish Highlands. Anyway, and I've got all the books. I just haven't had 5 seconds to sit down and read some books. But over Christmas, I will be taking a short break. You know, I'll give myself 10 days or something like that to do nothing. Yeah. Wait a bit more because I've spilt some on the page. And I mean, look, I'm adding extra in these anyway. And you can tell because I know the weight of them too. Now, also with orange, what happens, orange, because they can't, you get to see the, hold on. Oh, yes. Yeah, I know which one you mean, lovely. Yeah, that's a great one. That's my favourite one. I think that's Vikings Valhalla, if I'm right. Yeah, I think that's what it is. My daughters, my daughters are in their late 20s, and 30s, or one's like mid-20s. I do have 2 younger ones too, but they said to me, oh, Mum, do you know that the guy, the actor? And I said, no, I didn't know who he was, but they said, oh, he's some supermodel guy or something, and I was like, oh, okay, and they thought I was watching it for that, and I burst out laughing. I said, I'm 52 years old. Why do I want to watch it for him? I'm watching it for the series. Yeah, anyway, that was funny. They both laughed, So, yeah, anyway, but I do really like those series. I kind of like anything with an historical reference behind the movie, because my dad used to actually take me to museums. He loved Egyptian artifacts, when you'd see the museums and it was, about anything old. He loved that. So Dad always took me to those. And actually at the moment there's like, I think it's Da Vinci has a series at the museum. And I did think, oh, my dad would have loved to go to that. Yeah, like I said, he really enjoyed museums and because we're in Australia, like there's Ned Kelly's house that you can see, his original house. It's sort of set up like a museum. My dad took us there many times. The old Melbourne jail, which is where, I think Ned Kelly stayed. But yeah, so anyway, that's a little bit about my family. They just seem to really enjoy history and yeah, I enjoy it. I just find it interesting, you know. All those people are gone now, and we still find it interesting. We're still reading books on, you know, on the medieval times or whatever. I'm almost at the end of the orange. Tony Robbins. Oh, yeah. Someone told me about Tony Robbins, that series. I haven't seen it. I really haven't seen it, but there's been a few different ones on at the moment. Yeah, my husband watches totally different series to me. He likes all the action, you know, which doesn't really interest me. I mean, I do like the action when it's like I said, a historical type thing, but yeah. Now, I'll tell you how many we're getting out of this, my friends, as well, which this is actually perfect because there's pretty much nothing left, which is good. And I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute with the orange, how it will have kind of a fleck in it. So we have done them all, so they're all sitting here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, 12, 18, 24 roughly. 25 actually out of that mix that we did, and this size. So that's what you're going to get. But anyway, I'll show you this before we go. Now, can you see the little dots? That is like when they distill it, it's like the orange peel and everything from it, you know, in the inner parts of oranges will have flecks. So expect that. It's a natural product. We're trying to keep it as natural as we can. Obviously, the orange mica is not natural, but, you know. Yeah, I have definitely changed my shower steamer quite a few times. The reason I change it, there's a couple reasons. Number one is cost. If things go up or down, you have to think of the cost, availability as well, and also the weather changes. So if I make one in winter, it will not be the same recipe as this. It will have less liquid. So yeah, so you really have to consider the winter. So this is a great one for a really hot climate. Yeah, so you do like honestly have to think about your climate and what's going to work. So yeah, so that's why I have changed my recipe. And the Patreon members, they'll notice that when I put recipes out that they will be different. Even soap, I make different soap recipes in summer to what I do in winter. Yeah, because it has to do with, you know, I mean, it's all a chemical process. Even though we're trying to make natural products, it still is a chemical process for it to dry. Yeah, that's right. It's good to know, my love. Yeah, so I will put this recipe on there on Patreon as well. I'll give you a few options as well. And in it, I'll try and post that tomorrow. And in it, I will actually talk a little bit about changing the lavender one, because lavender's a little bit more tricky because lavender's a lot more potent than orange. So yeah, so there'll be slight differences in the lavender recipe. Anyway, I'll get going. Thanks for joining, friends. See you next time. Bye.